So you were saying?
Well, I was saying this culture of ours, in some ways, is kind of negative towards education now. Dealing with the recession that we had, stemming from 2007, 2008, has caused a different attitude amongst getting a degree in terms of using it as a tool to gain income, because of the amount of student loan debt the students carry, and also the fact that a job isn't guaranteed to you, like Nick said earlier, after you graduate. And then we look at examples like Mark Zuckerberg, who dropped out of Harvard and became a billionaire. And countless other examples like that, where people feel like education is only stuck towards money. And I, asked that question: is education going to a school really, really necessary to seek knowledge and to gain those things?
I'll tell you this, and we've had a conversation on this. I don't want to rehash this one, but Mark Zuckerberg, there are not countless others in that situation. The reality is that that's a 1 in a million situation for someone to have that kind of success. And so I'm always stressing to the student population that I serve that education is a tool. You can use it however you decide to use it, but it is a first step for many folks. It's interesting because as we were talking about this issue, I recognize that I don't want to leave people with the impression that this is just about sort of value-centered education, like, oh, we have to teach the standard subjects, but then teach some values and some, ethereal principles, that sort of thing. This stuff that I think we're talking about in the charge, these concepts and principles, are not ancillary concepts. These are critical to being successful, right? I mean, you've got to figure out how to have control and caring and connection and these sorts of things so that you actually can be successful. There are a lot of soft skills in life that people never learn in school, that are literally the difference between them being successful in a career and not being successful. How to be a friendly person in a job situation. How to work as a team. A lot of my students don't like to work in group projects. And I tell them, well, where in the world are you ever going to be able to work all the time by yourself? Of course, the economy's changing, and there are some opportunities for that. But even that work that you're doing at home, you got to send to somebody else, and then they have to tell you whether they like it or not, and you have to work with them. So, you want to hop in this as well, Nick, but I think those things are important to put out.
I mean, there's so much, depending on the subject matter. In the social sciences, you have more of an opportunity to hit on those kind of things, especially communications and in those areas. But like I said before, coming out originally out of the physical sciences. There is not an opportunity if you're studying engineering or, like I said before, biology, medicine, or whatever it is, to work on those skills. It is a huge problem. Yeah. And a lot of times people who will be perceived, as a doctor, a lot of times, I've seen procedures done by other people, and the patients tell me, oh, this person was great, he's such a great doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I look at the procedure, and it wasn't as good as, they're rampant and raving about. And I've seen, conversely, where they said he was horrible, and I'm looking at everything, I'm going, wow, this guy did a great job. And it ended up being his chairside manners or his bedside manners, what he projected to the patient or to the person. So how do you teach that, And I think schools more and more are starting to do that, but certainly it's a whole different area. And, that all that fits in with, the charge in terms of, being your authentic self, being present, acknowledging things around you, and things of the sort.
Well, we all touched on a common thread, being that these values came from home first, or our early educational experiences. And so I think that, some students may lack, that value system being set up at home, and even the prevalence of having ideas brought to us by way of books. My mother worked for the American Library Association, so, I read plenty of books. Right, galleys. It was it was exciting to have my mother bring those galleys home, and it was almost like a gift. I was getting these books before everyone else got them. So that was a value system that was set up for me as a younger person. Yeah. So if you don't get it early, then it's hard to foster these types of values for someone later in life.
And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with folks later in life, and we're really swimming upstream in a lot of ways. But I'm hopeful. You know, I'm hopeful that I think that we can have a level of impact. I think change the game for many of these students, but we have to do it by tapping into those principles and those ideas that are essential to success that we really never get a chance to touch on in the textbook. So I hope that we're able to do that more and convince other instructors to do that and consequently motivate our students to do better. So thank you all so much. This is a very good conversation. I've definitely enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.